It was an ordinary Tuesday, August 12, 2025. The sun cast these long shadows across the manicured lawns of Oak Creek Park, a day like any other, until, well, it wasn't. Because sitting there, propped against the old oak tree near the duck pond, was a briefcase. Brown leather, scuffed at the corners, its brass latches dulled by time and weather. Nothing special, really, just a forgotten item. Or was it? Something about it felt wrong. His name was Arthur Penhaligon, a retired postal worker, a man of routine and quiet habits. Every Tuesday, come rain or shine, Arthur took his afternoon constitutional through Oak Creek Park. He knew every twist in the path, every bench, every familiar face. He was a man who noticed things. He'd seen it from a distance, a dark shape against the familiar bark of the old oak. But on his second lap around the pond, it was still there, untouched, unmoved. Arthur deviated from his well-worn path, his sensible shoes crunching on the dry leaves as he approached the tree. He stood over the briefcase for a long moment, a sense of unease creeping up his spine.
He called out, his voice a little shaky. "Hello? Did anyone lose a briefcase?"
He knelt down, his old knees protesting, and reached for the latches. They were not locked. With a hesitant click, he opened one, then the other. He lifted the lid just a crack, his breath catching in his throat. What he saw inside made him recoil. He snapped the lid shut, a gasp escaping his lips. His hands trembled as he reached for the mobile phone in his pocket, a device he rarely used. His fingers, usually so nimble from sorting letters, fumbled with the numbers. 911. The call was brief, his voice strained. "There's a briefcase," he said, his words tumbling out. "In the park. You need to come. You need to come now." The first officers on the scene were young, accustomed to minor disturbances and traffic violations. But the look on Arthur Penhaligon's face told them this was different. They approached the briefcase with a professional caution that soon gave way to grim reality. Inside, nestled amongst neatly folded documents, was a human hand, severed, a man's hand by the looks of it, pale and still, a simple gold wedding band on its ring finger. A worn photograph of a smiling woman and two young children, their faces frozen in a moment of pure happiness. The investigators bagged every item with meticulous care. The driver's license gave them a name, Richard Hayes, age 42, an architect, a local. Each one was a silent witness. Richard Hayes was, by all accounts, a pillar of the community. He was a successful architect, the driving force behind the ambitious Oak Creek Rising project, a plan to revitalize the city's aging downtown core. They lived in a beautiful home in the suburbs, the very picture of success and stability. The lead investigator assigned to the case was Detective Isabella Rossi. She met with Sarah Hayes at the family home, a place that was now a crime scene. Sarah was in a state of shock, her world collapsing in real time. The news spread like wildfire. A severed hand, a prominent citizen, a briefcase in the park. Every news report repeated the gruesome details, showing pictures of Richard Hayes, his smiling face now a haunting reminder of the city's lost innocence. The park, once a symbol of peace and recreation, became a place to be avoided. Parents kept their children inside. The evening dog walkers vanished. The construction sites fell silent, the cranes standing like skeletal figures against the sky, monuments to a dream that had turned into a nightmare. Detective Rossi and her team worked around the clock, fueled by coffee and a grim sense of duty. The ledgers, in particular, felt like the key. The cryptic initials, the large sums of money. Financial analysts from the state police were brought in to help decipher them. They painstakingly traced the money, uncovering a complex web of shell corporations and offshore accounts. The financial trail led Detective Rossi to a surprising place. Richard Hayes' own business partner, Marcus Thorne. Thorne, the quiet money man, had presented himself as a victim, a man shocked and saddened by his partner's disappearance. But the numbers in the ledgers didn't lie. The shell corporations, the illegal transactions, they all traced back to accounts controlled not by Richard, but by Marcus. Armed with the security footage and the receipt for the wood chipper, Detective Rossi entered the interrogation room for the third and final time. She slid the photograph from the hardware store across the table. Thorne glanced at it and a flicker of something, fear, resignation, crossed his face. His lawyer tried to object, but Thorne waved him off. The confident facade he had maintained for so long had crumbled into dust. He looked at Rossi, his eyes hollow, and began to speak. The confession came out in a torrent, a flood of words held back for too long. He confessed to the horrific act of dismembering the body with the wood chipper, scattering the remains in a landfill miles away. Marcus Thorne was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For the city of Oak Creek, the verdict brought a sense of closure. The monster was caged. The Oak Creek Rising Project, once a symbol of hope and progress, was now tainted by its dark origins, and yet, a mystery remained, a lingering shadow that the confession and conviction could not erase. The financial trail went cold in a series of untraceable offshore accounts. The briefcase was gone from the park, but its memory remained. A reminder that even in the most ordinary of places, on the most ordinary of days, a deep darkness can be waiting. A darkness that can be unlocked by a simple click of a latch, changing everything, forever. And you have to wonder, don't you, if another briefcase with another story is waiting somewhere right now.